Last Christmas, me and my husband decided to ask our in-laws for a certain gift we wanted. We wanted one that we could use all year long, one that would make sense for us, one that would bring us joy throughout the year. And that was annual passes to Universal Studios in Florida. We've been living down here for over a year at that point, just slightly, and we had been going to Disney World throughout that whole time, and we really wanted to be able to go to Universal also, and we thought that was a great gift to give. Thankfully, that year for Christmas, we did get it. And only a few short months later is when Universal had announced that they were doing annual pass holder previews for their brand new theme park, Epic Universe. And Epic Universe will be a brand new theme park for Orlando, Florida, the first since social media started. So it's been pretty big on social media, pretty blown up. I really wanted to go to annual pass holder previews because me and my husband collectively decided that we weren't going to go right at grand opening. We had decided that months back before we even got our annual passes. We decided the crowds would be too much, and it was summertime almost. Summertimes down here are not ideal, and I don't want to be outside very long during those. During these annual pass holder previews, we were able to buy for one day. It was a Saturday, and then after that Saturday, we actually decided that we wanted to go back again. So the next time we bought tickets for a Friday. So we went on one weekend and one weekday. It was probably the second weekend of previews, but still kind of during that first week of annual pass holder previews. These tickets, specifically when you're buying them, you are paying for them. It is not a free perk for annual pass holders. And you are also knowingly buying tickets that are happening during technical rehearsals of the park. The whole park is in technical rehearsals. Some things might not be working, some things might be changing, and I just want to preference that we were not able to do absolutely everything in the park on those days if you were taking your time and really enjoying just being in a theme park. So this is the first time I've ever been to a new theme park, brand new, the whole thing, and could actually go to it. This is the only time in my life that I was able to have an experience walking into a brand new theme park and not really knowing what was going on in terms of what exactly the rides were. I knew of the lands and what the themes of the rides were, but nothing about any specifics other than Super Nintendo World. Super Nintendo World has been open in Tokyo and California for a few years now, and I do know about those, and I have seen things about those. So we went in pretty blind. So with our tickets secured, we headed off to Epic Universe with only a bare minimum plan. Our plan during previews was to only ride essential must-do rides for us, try any food we think sounded really good, and explore every land. Go into every single one, at least see what is around, what is offered, and just have a really good day. My top ride was Stardust Racers, the roller coaster. And my husband's top ride was to go on the Monsters Unchained in the Dark Universe section. And we'll get into that later on in the video when I talk about rides. We kind of had some hiccups here and there. And again, it was technical rehearsal, so no way am I critiquing, if the ride was down, if they were having technical difficulties. This is the whole point of this. But we were at preview, so we were really excited and we're really hopeful for these things to go right. So, with that in mind, let's go into the parks. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Say hi, honey. Yeah. When you first get to Epic Universe and you scan your ticket and you go through security, you are going to see a big, massive, what they're calling a gate. It is the largest one out of all of them, but it's also the front gate. It is your first portal you are going through. So this portal is the portal into Epic Universe. Epic Universe isn't a a location here on Earth. It is like there's just a portal to it. You are not actually able to go to Epic Universe unless you go through this portal. And then once you go inside the portal, you are in the land of Celestial Park. And Epic Universe considers the park to have 5 lands. One of the lands is Celestial Park. So Celestial Park is not just the hub of Epic Universe, it is also a land in Epic Universe. And because of that, it is the biggest land, and it is the most like spread out land. And I will say it is also the only land that is a brand new imagined. And since Celestial Park houses all the other gates, all the gates are kind of themed to Celestial Park. So you'll see a consistent look to all the gates. They all have these like medallions right at the top, and coming down the archways from those are always little details pertaining to what land you're going into, and each one does have like giant statue coming out of the top, kind of a thing that you can see all throughout Celestial Park when you're in there. Each gate is cool and themed. Each gate hides what the land looks like from you, which does help with the immersive feel of being transported through a portal. I like how all the things have moving dials in them. And then they have all the dragon like artwork on the side. Oh, and they have a whole like little stone.
Oh wow. That's crazy. Dude, so much fun. I think it's a real rock.
Is it a real rock? I don't think so. It's not a real rock. They all have either like something in front of them, or you are walking kind of into it from something else. So the How to Train Your Dragon Gate has screens showing fire. It's crackling fire. You're going into the rockwork surrounding Burke. I wonder who's up all the way up there. I love all the tile work on the ground. And they have all the characters on the side. We knew the Mario Gate was going to be the warp pipe, just like it is in every other park Mario Land is in, and it plays the sounds, and it has lights. Oh, the music's so cool. That's so fun. Mario, you're going in through Peach's Castle, again, just like how the other parks are. Oh my God! Oh my God, it's so loud and colorful! And then from Mario Land, you can go into Donkey Kong Country via that one's gate. That one's gate is very themed to Donkey Kong Country. Like, it doesn't have the Celestial Park theming to it. That looks so cool.
It does.
All right. Going into France.
Don't they have,
Oh, they have the wands on the...
they have the one you have.
They have the one I have up there. Oh, it's like the Patronus goo up on the top.
Ah, yes, the Patronus goo.
The Harry Potter world gate is kind of, to me, it looks like Patronus goo that you're like walking through to get into it, instead of like the moving bricks of Diagon Alley. But they did kind of do that as you're going through the gate. They did the same kind of walkways where you're walking toward a wall and then you split off and then you finally see the reveal of the whole land.
Wait, where to go up?
Cool.
Oh, it's just like a giant version of Diagon Alley. Like they really spread it out.
Yeah, which was good. This is one of the coolest gates. Holy shit, look how cool that is. I want this on my bedroom.
I'm a little scared.
Raptors, holy shit, that's cool.
Dark Universe kind of hides the rest of its land behind a cemetery you first walk into. You don't really see the big castle right away, the Frankenstein's estate right away. It is kind of like you have to get through the fictional town to be able to see Frankenstein's castle. I think each gate was very successful in how it is doing that immersive feel. You walk in from this tiny little thing and you walk into this big, grand, expansive area compared to where you just were before, and it does play into that immersive feel. So most lands, even though the gate is the main entrance and exit, they do have side ones that they have concealed pretty well. Everyone's first instinct is to go through the gate, but once you have been to the theme park or have been in a land, you do see that there are like additional ways into them. The only one that I think does not do that is the How to Train Your Dragons land into Burke. I think the only way in or out of that is through its main gate. I am not sure. That is just the only way that we went in and out of that land, and we had been in and out of that land pretty frequently. But the other ones, especially Mario, it has an escalator in it. Not everyone can get up an escalator. There is right to the side of the escalator an elevator, but I just don't think that is going to be enough for people to be able to get into this land very easily. There are side entrances and exits to the land, but again, they are so well hidden. I don't know if most people will see that until they are already in there. So a lot of people are probably going to be waiting for that elevator or waiting for that escalator line to get into Nintendo World. And I'll get into my gripes with Nintendo World a little bit later. Because there are more than just the elevator at the beginning. And then I do want to say that the gates at night are so cool. They are so bright. They have lights, they have sounds, they have the screens going on, and they look beautiful at night.
This is cool at night.
These are really cool at night.
It's amazing still, just the gates themselves.
Really hope the pixels and the ones that have pixeled screens really last. Even while we were there, I saw some of the pixels were broken. I don't know how often they're going to have to replace those. That really sucks. Each gate also at night does have a beacon, is what I think they're calling it. I'm going to call it a beacon. They all kind of converge into the middle above the park once the sun sets. It's kind of cool. You look up at it and you're like, oh, what's that? Is that supposed to be there? It is supposed to be there. It is supposed to be something. It's a mid-tier cool to me. It's not exactly that thrilling. I really wish instead of those, they had some kind of show maybe going on at night. In correction, they do have a fireworks, drone, laser light show, I'm pretty sure. I did see them testing that, so that is something I was mistaken about. I am very glad they have that at night. The park is beautiful at night. The park at night is really beautiful, so I'm glad that they have something else going on than just the beacons that you can stay and watch and see at night. So out of all of the lands, I think the land that has had the most labor of love into it, the most development time, the one that feels the most complete and feels like an actual wholly put together land is the How to Train Your Dragon land, the Isle of Berk. And I will get into the details that you see around this land specifically later on. I have a whole section of details, but you can really see it just from inside this one. You can see how much effort was put into some of these things, or how much they have looked at other things going on in their own parks, in other parks, maybe across the globe, and really took some feedback that people have had over the years on things that they wanted to see in theme parks and implemented them into Epic Universe. I think a good example is that I love the Harry Potter land in this park too, but it's lacking in some things, and we will get into that when I talk about the Harry Potter land. This is also the only one that has like a little selfie station that like they have built. It's only one, mind you, so it's gonna be packed for all the people that want selfies, but it's there. As soon as you walk through the portal and get into Berk, you can see the lake village across the water. You can see their Viking ships. Over on the sides, of course, is the coaster going, and you can see the hang gliders in the background, and you can see kind of what's going on. Get in deeper, you start seeing the dragons, and you start seeing some characters walking around, and in the food and the meat hall and all that stuff. So the big thing in the back is the meat hall, and then that is the, like, I'm pretty sure it's a
water gun ride.
The water gun ride, and they also have that ride in the Lego theme park. Look at him move! I feel like the Isle of Berk land could be one of the lands that you spend all day in, and you will enjoy. There are other lands where you could spend all day in, and I would not enjoy them. I will get into that. So I want to preference that I am a Nintendo fan. I have been playing on like a Game Boy since I was a kid. I have been working on collecting the handhelds. I am a huge Nintendo fan. I love Kirby, I love Zelda, I love Animal Crossing. Pokemon is my absolute favorite. My favorite game is a Pokemon game, and the Mystery Dungeon series is my favorite video games of all time. I love Nintendo. I love what some of the Nintendo does. I am not a Nintendo person that says they can do no wrong though, you know? So when it comes to the theme park, they had already built 2 of these. I have seen videos, and I had seen media about the other ones. Not really the Donkey Kong land. I know that opened in Japan a few months earlier because I knew it was coming to Orlando. So coming into Super Nintendo World, I was excited. I had been seeing things for the last few years about how beautiful and how cool and how put together and how much video games have come to life in this world via Universal's work on it. And so I was really excited when we were going in there. But as soon as I get into Super Mario Land, I was overwhelmed. I was overstimulated to the max as soon as we like stepped through the Peach's castle and like you actually get into the land. The music in this section of the park, Mario Land, is excruciatingly loud. So overwhelming. I didn't want to be in there very long at all. At first it's like amazing. You're like, oh my God, there's so much to do. There's so many things going on, and this is so cool. Well, look at that, look at that, look at that. But it immediately becomes too much for me personally, especially considering the way this land was made. The Super Nintendo world is built into like 2 layers. There is like one floor at the bottom and there is another floor at the top. There is a reason why they built it this way. They've obviously built the Mario section so small and had the offshoot of the Donkey Kong section as it is because they are going to add more. They're going to add in more Nintendo properties going forward. That's why it is built in 2 stories to save space so they can keep expanding. You have to go up an escalator to first get into the whole land, and then to be able to do some things, you have to go back down. And you don't know that right when you're coming to it. I mean, you see that you have to go up the escalator in the warp pipe portal, and you only see one elevator. And I'm just thinking, how many people are going to go and they're going to try and go up that elevator? There's going to be a wait. There's going to be a wait for the elevator, and I don't know who in their right mind would think they only need one. But they don't have just one, I don't think. I know there's at least another one to exit, but I don't know if there's more than one to go up or one to go down, because there are other ways to get into this specific land. There are side doors. I didn't know they existed until we left via one of them from the Mario land. They have done a great job at hiding those. Like, I would see why, because they want you to go through the portal and kind of have that experience and then come out. But this land is going to be one of the most popular lands in the park. It is something that kids and adults have been looking forward to. And it's small. It's so small. Once you get into it, oh my God. I am a Nintendo fan, but there is not a lot of seating in this place. And then there is not enough shade in this section of the park. So this is one of the biggest gripes I have with this land park. There are no trees to keep with the theming. I think I saw one mushroom bush. I don't know if it even is a real bush though. It might have been a fake bush, and you're walking on hot painted pathways. There is no way this Mario section of the park is not getting obscenely hot during the Florida summers. I know they've already built this in Japan and California, but Florida is a different beast, and they know that. They have parks here. It is going to be ridiculous for anyone who is just not prepared for that kind of weather in the summertime to be able to be in this section of the park in the midday, or for anything longer than an hour or two. You would need to leave to cool down, to rehydrate, to be doing something other than standing in the direct sun. I don't want to be there during the summer. I'm not going to be there during the summer, and I hope everyone that does go there, or anyone that thinks that their kids will want to spend a lot of time in there, please be prepared. They have 2 rides in this section. In Donkey Kong, they have another ride in that section. So they do still have 3 rides. They only have 1 quick service thing, the Toadstool Cafe, while the Isle of Berk has 2. We did not ride the Mario Kart ride. The wait was very long. The wait for this ride is astronomical. The Donkey Kong roller coaster was one that we really wanted to get on. Could not get on it. The wait was way too long. It was going to take up too much time to be able to wait for that than to be able to finish seeing the rest of the park. So we did not go on Donkey Kong either. Harry Potter Land is probably my second favorite land in this whole park, or my first. It's kind of tied with the Isle of Berk. I would say Isle of Berk is better than it, but I love the theming of this section, and I do love the theming of this section. I'm not lying when I say that, but also the theming is very stupid from a conceptual point, and it does ruin the immersion if you are somebody that loves immersion in these theme parks. I always go into theme parks and I'm just like, I'm a person and this is a theme park. I am not there to pretend I am a wizard or to pretend I am a Jedi in Nintendo World and think I was like a Toad or something experiencing Super Nintendo World. So I'm not going into the Harry Potter world and thinking I'm a wizard, pretend to be a Viking. I am going into the Harry Potter world as normal Katrina, and I am not a wizard, and I am not traveling to France. I am just there at a theme park, and that's how I take every theme park land. So the official name for this land is Harry Potter, the Ministry of Magic. This is not the Ministry of Magic. The Ministry of Magic is a ride. It is not the whole land, but that is what the whole land is named. So the land is actually 1920s Wizarding Paris. It is based off of the new movies of Harry Potter, the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them franchise associated with Harry Potter, obviously. These movies were prequels. They were in the 1920s, and obviously Harry Potter takes place in the 1980s, 1990s of the wizarding world. And when you walk in this portal to go into the wizarding world, you're transported to 1920s France. Now, in this land of 1920s France, you can go to the modern day, it's not modern day, it's 80s or 90s, Harry Potter world. That is actually when Harry Potter is there and happening. You can be transported there through the Floo network, which is the fireplaces with the green smoke and stuff. Somehow the Floo powder, it doesn't just, transport you, it also time travels you. So you are time traveling in this land to get into the ride, to come back out of the ride, and to come back out of the park. So you're doing a lot of time traveling in this section of the park. If you are a person that likes immersion. Now, technically that concept is way out there. Not many people are coming into this section of the park and being like, oh my god, it's 1920s, it's France, oh my gosh, I know exactly what's happening. I don't know what's happening in this section other than that because I didn't watch the movies past the first one of this Fantastic Beasts series. So the Paris 1920s section, which is the whole land, is nicely themed. It is so nice. There are so many details. Again, I will get into the details, but as you walk through, it is absolutely beautiful. It is basically like Diagon Alley 2.0, just not in England and bigger. Like the walkways are double the size of that. There's no bank at the end, but there is the circus going on. That is a show you can go watch. There is the T shape. It does split off into two kind of walkways, just like Diagon Alley does a little bit.
It's got a lot more color and architectural diversity than the regular one too.
So basically the Harry Potter land in this park is just, they looked at Diagon Alley and they said, how can we make Diagon Alley better? And then built that. And just like Diagon Alley, they do have a shady section off of the little corner, a little alleyway you can go to. It's not as big as Nocturne Alley. Nocturne Alley has a shop inside of it, and it has, it's kind of twisty. This one is just kind of like an extra little mini square inside with the quick service connected to it and some things you can do with your wand in that section. It's not as big, it's not as dark and creepy. It's still like an offshoot. You can see it if you look hard enough, but if you're just walking through and casually going, you might not run in this little portion of Harry Potter land. Look at all the chairs on the wall.
La Goubelette
Noir. I'm gonna guess.
I think it's a restaurant.
Yeah. This section of the park is also nicely shaded. It's not like Mario, there is shade. So this is gonna be a good section of the park to get away from any heat because they have real trees kind of planted on the walkways. Those will grow in, and the buildings surrounding the whole land, so this looks like, a city street. They are built big enough and in such a way that I feel like no matter what time of day, the sun will always be hitting one of the buildings, that there is shade throughout this whole section, throughout the whole day. This land was also where we seem to have spent the most time in. Again, Isle of Berk, we spent a lot of time in there. We spent a lot of time in Harry Potter land. It wasn't as loud. It was more open. It felt big while I was there, and it wasn't crowded. Again, we were there during previews. I don't know how it's going to be once the park initially opens. I would be scared to go in any of these lands once the park actually opens and the crowd is actually at capacity. I don't think kids really wanted to stay in this section. Again, there's not much to do in this section other than to look at it and be engrossed in like the details, which we will get into, doing the wand stuff, shopping, eating, stuff that like kids don't really want to do. They are basing it on a real place in a real time period. Everything there is kind of the wizarding side of that. So just like Isle of Berk, Harry Potter World does have 2 quick service places to eat at. It does have a show. It only has 1 ride though at this time. The biggest downside of the Harry Potter land is that there's only 1 ride. There is no accessibility issues walking into this. There is later on in the ride, and I will get to that. Thankfully, on one of our trips, we were able to get a virtual queue for this ride, so I can talk about it. This is so close. The final gate we went through was to Dark Universe, which is Universal's land for their Universal monsters. So Frankenstein, Dracula, all of them seem to have like multiple names going on. How to Train Your Dragon Land, the Isle of Berk, Dragon's Land, Nintendo World, Super Nintendo World, Mario Land, Donkey Kong Land, Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, Ministry of Magic. Everything has too many names going on. I don't know. So the Dark Universe is actually like a village. Once you go into it, it is Village of Darkmoor, which is where all of these creatures are. Like Super Nintendo World, it is small, and I have some theories on why it's small, but I'll say that later. So this land consists of mainly the village of Darkmoor, and then it kind of goes into the back, which is where the tavern is. So you start at the beginning, you kind of go through a graveyard, and then you get into the village. And the village has the quick service. There is a gift shop where you can go look at the merch. This land also has the unique face painting going on. They have a whole little building, a little section to be able to do the monster makeup.
This is the coolest land by far.
You think so?
Sick. At night, dude?
At night, dude.
Yeah, like making Krabby Patties.
There's
At night.
There are 2 rides. One is the Frankenstein mansion. The ride is in there. And then the other one you can see as you're walking around, it is called the Curse of the Werewolf. And then after the Frankenstein mansion is just kind of like a loop around. It's going around the werewolf coaster. The Burning Blade Tavern is at the back of that loop. And then the rest of it is kind of like the dark forest around. There was the tavern and a pretzel popcorn cart, but not much else back there, and the Burning Blade Tavern is just not what I thought it would be. If you don't need to go back to the Burning Blade Tavern, you don't want to look at it, you don't need to walk around that whole loop. There's no reason. You can walk to the mansion, go on that ride, come out of the mansion, walk around near the bathrooms, go to the werewolf ride if you want to ride that, and then come back. There is no reason to keep walking that loop. There is nothing back there for you. There's a pretzel.
Frank and Friends pretzels. The videos are kind of deceptive as to how big this is.
I don't quite know why they made this whole land as small as it is. But I think they weren't sure if it was going to be a successful land or not. Which is crazy to me because Universal always gets so much praise for their Halloween Horror Nights every year. I have never been. I'm not into getting scared. I was actually kind of scared of this land. It's just a theme park land with some spooky vibes in painted black. The biggest gripe I have with this land is the Burning Blade Tavern. I absolutely loathe this place since it was so popular online before the park even opened. People were hyping up how cool it is. A lot of people I think are going to be disappointed when they see this tavern coming into it. So first off, the entrance to the tavern was very odd. I wasn't prepared to walk into it. They have the sign outside, but then the doors aren't open. They are specifically keeping the doors closed so the tavern is dark and sketchy inside. And this is one of the places where actors can be about. So we did walk in at one point when the actor was saying some stuff, which was pretty cool. But once you get inside, is laughably tiny. This tavern has no space, it has no seating, and you go in thinking like you can walk up to the counter and order food, like it's a quick service kind of thing. That's what you're expecting when you see a menu outside and you kind of are going into a door into a place here. But it's not. It is really just a bar, and then on the outside, which the outside is another huge problem because, again, the doors are shut to keep the creepiness in, and the door to get to the outside counter is crazy in where it is placed and which way it opens. So it opens out to the outside, and there is almost always people standing in front of it. We had went out this door like 3 times, and each time we hit somebody, and then we watched other people hit people with this door. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know if they had thought they would keep the doors open and then decided to not keep them open to keep the ambiance, and so now they have this problem, or if it was always going to be a problem. There's not really like a place to order in here. There's not a place to stand around and wait for your order either. There's only a few chairs on the outside, a few chairs on the inside, and it's just not what it looks like it's supposed to be. This is actually like worse than Olga's Cantina over in Star Wars Land. Olga's at least is bigger than this. I don't see how people are supposed to sit in here like a tavern and sit and get a drink, because I thought Olga's was crazy for the way they were doing stuff. You had to have a reservation. You could only be in there for 45 minutes. There's no food. And then Universal turns around and they do the exact same thing. You go in, you can walk up to the bar, you can order a drink, but you can't order food at the bar. You have to go outside. So you already put in an order for a drink. You have your drink. You're going to hit somebody on your way out. You got to try and order food. You can't order food. You got to order it through the app. And then you have to pick it up. So you can't get a table. You have to stand waiting for your food that whole time. And then when you can get a table with your hot food, there's no table to sit at. And then if you're like, okay, let me just walk away from the tavern and go sit somewhere else, there is nowhere else to sit. I don't know what they thought. And they can't even add more seating because there's no place outside to add more seating unless it's in the walkway. So they could put a couple benches out there, but there's nowhere to place your food. The tavern is just a no-go, and if you're looking in this video and you're like, oh, that's not so bad, she is exaggerating how bad this tavern is. It's not. It's worse than what it looks like. So walking around this whole part of the land is not worth it if the tavern is not worth it, because that's all that's back there.
Right there.
I wish there was a Jurassic Park land in this one. Jurassic World even. I already technically have a Jurassic Park land, but it's not good. Ugh. Do want to acknowledge all the effort that was put in this park. Is definitely a multi-day park, but definitely even for us being there 2 full days, we did not ride everything, and we were doing previews at a limited capacity. So let's get into what these details are. And in Berkeley, they have this beautiful sculpture of the Hiccup and Toothless first meeting. Like, it didn't have to be here. If it wasn't here, I wouldn't have noticed. I just heard like buying. But oh my God. Wait. Look at that little guy in his little house. He's so cute, and then somebody else's tail is sticking out. That's so cool. There is a way to walk up there. I don't know if that's like, maybe it's a store. We'll see. Sorry, I don't want to blind you guys. The sun's up there. Nice. There are so many dragons around. There are just statues of like their tails hanging out. A lot of them are in the houses. There are even like the babies. The babies are on the ground some places. And with the sheeps are so cute. I heard a lot of buying, and they're so cute. The little baby dragons sleeping with the sheep. Oh my God. That's so cute. And they all make noise too. They baa every few seconds. I kept hearing them. Oh, there it goes. Once you start hearing them, they have obviously speakers near these statues, make it seem like the statues are alive. They they make dragon sounds. It's very nice. But then there are animatronics of dragons around too. There is Toothless that you can meet, and there are many. I think I only saw one Breathing Ice. I did not meet Toothless. I did not see Astrid's dragon. I know that is a walk-around character, which is super cool. The amount of details packed into this one land is crazy. Probably stems from them working with a lot of Jurassic Park / Jurassic World stuff within these last few years here, and I think over in the Asian parks specifically, they have really nailed down like dinosaur animatronics and dinosaur meet and greets and all of that. And because of all of those throughout their history, they were able to perfect them and refine them for Berk. So all around the Isle of Berk, there are these little interactive like idols, maybe not idols, sculptures, monuments, maybe monuments is the best word, monuments, that are all around the land, and they all like can do something. I think they're contraptions that maybe Hiccup built is supposed to be the theming to it, but unlike the Harry Potter ones and the Power-Up Band, these are free to do. These were actually like thought of to be something free in the park that kids can run around and go do, and like you can just spot it and be like, oh, there that is. There's no map, there's no quest, there's nothing really to them. They don't do anything, you don't get anything from them. You can touch them, you can move them. This one specifically next to the mac and cheese cone place, you're playing a game with somebody, you are trying to win. As soon as you hit the top, the bell rings. It's hidden, but it's not hidden. It's like a thing that just can stand on its own and look cool, but it's actually a thing that can move and be interactable, and I just love that. And those are all around Berk, and I just think that's really cool, and it just shows how the team was really thoughtful with this land and really went above and beyond, and that is probably why this land, it will be the best land to be in. Even the benches are cool and are distinct in each land. So Celestial Park has these ones that look like stone lions, and I love the ones in Berk. They look like dragons. They look like they're wood carved dragon benches. It's so cool. I think there was also a sheep one too. I just love that they are even putting details into the benches around the parks. I love the Wizarding World. I love how beautiful it is. Oh, I love the giant murals. It's so pretty.
It's pretty.
You are seeing all of the buildings and the shops, and all of the shops have all the details just like in the other ones. And then as you go in further, you can start looking into windows. You can see props in some of them up higher. You can see that there are big murals painted on the outside of these shops. You can see more of the shop signs. Most of these you cannot go in, but I love the detailing. And I love that there is a mooncalf you can just interact with through the door. I think he responds to sound. Hi! Hi! Yeah! Every time I made a sound, he kind of like made a noise, moved his head a little. It's just so cute. I love that, like, they didn't have to put him there. They could have just put maybe some like clothes because it's in like an entryway, but they didn't. They added an animatronic, and I commend them for that. And sadly, I think Dark Universe in Mario is kind of lacking in these little details that the team has really worked on to put in. Now, Mario, there's not really room for little details that aren't associated with the power-up band. If you don't have a power-up band, you can't interact with a lot of the details in Mario Land. These mini games are also like some of the reasons why the land looks so good, especially in video, because they are the things that are moving around. They are like some of the things that are attacking you, or you have to attack back or stop or do something with. They have hidden it and put it in plain sight. And it's not like you can watch, but there's always a line and there's always people in front of it. So I'm not saying Mario Land doesn't have any details. It has loads of details. I love all of the things moving in there. I love being able to sit on the Yoshi ride and kind of like look around the park from up there and see everyone doing everything and looking at everything. And I think it is a very well themed area, but it's just not something that you can really just sit around and enjoy. Again, we've already kind of discussed the gripes with that section. And Dark Universe is kind of the same way. I see that there are details. I love the details that are there, but it's not really like they made as many as they did in the rest of the park. Dark Universe, it's probably not meant to have something like, it's supposed to be a town, but like a town filled with creepy ghoulies and mysterious monsters is going to be a town where there are things to find in it. There are things to just want to know what it is. What's the point?
What kind of plan?
I wasn't asking my husband. I'm asking the Universal team. I don't know what this thing is. Please tell me. The mist in the Darkmoor section, in the town, the well is like mist coming out, and there is mist in the graveyard, so it feels all spooky when you first start going in there. It really gives that nice eerie feeling. And one more detail I just want to point out, it's a little weird. I don't have any footage. I think I have a photo. We'll see. If it is, I'll add some here. Every bathroom I went in had some sort of mosaic or something going on. They didn't just put up the funny bathroom signs that most places do. I love that they actually went in and added like extra things to the bathrooms. I love that the Dark Universe bathrooms, when you go in, the toilets are black. I love that the details range from animatronics to bathroom seats, you know? These are the details that makes the park for me. It is going to be one of those parks where you can go in for the day and stay in one land and just see something new each time. This is already something Disney does. I have been in the Disney parks a lot since we've moved down, and I still go into those parks and still see details. But I'm seeing details that have been there probably for a long time. I don't see myself going into Star Wars Land anymore and trying to find a detail. Does that speak about how much I don't like Star Wars Land? Or does that speak about the new ways that Disney does their land? I don't see myself going into Toy Story Land either and looking for any details there. I just wanted to bring some of these up. I wanted to say that these are beautiful. These look like they took time. These are quality details that they have put into this theme park, and it's not just something they felt like they needed to do. They obviously took time and they wanted to add these things into Epic. We interacted with 2 different actors, again, both in Wizarding World. Some of the musicians, maybe actors, because they are just one person. I know in Celestial Park there has been violinists, and there is also one in the Dark Universe section. They come out, they play, and then I do see them talking to people. So I don't know if they're in character for that section, or if they're just, you know, talking about music or, you know, talking about anything related to park in more like a cast member kind of way. But they add ambiance and they add something to the land, so that's why I'm adding them as an actor instead of just like entertainment. They have stages for entertainment and they have stages for actual bands, and I did hear a band at one point, like live music going on, but these were more small scale. They were more intimate things that like you got to individually go up and talk to them if they were done playing their set. Where did I put my card? Ah. So there are many actors around. I don't know if they're in each land. I know that Astrid and the twins walk around Burke, and the twins have been getting a lot of traction on social media. I'm sure if you see any theme park things, you would have seen them. They seem very fun to interact with. Again, another thing kind of like I saw them, but I didn't interact with them. Nintendo has meet and greets. They are specifically meet and greets. They are costumed characters. They're in complete suits. I understand that they cannot just walk around. And then in the Dark Universe section, I know that there is the Invisible Man. He walks around. I think Frankenstein's bride also gets to walk around and talk with people. And then Igor, who is actually featured on the ride. So you can see Igor in the ride and you can see him walking around the park, which is very cool and adds to the immersion that like, maybe if you talk to him, he would say, "Oh, you're a guest. I'll invite you into the thing." And then if you go on the ride, it's like way more of a continuation of the storyline. And then there are like specific non-character characters, like they don't have names, I think. There are just like monster hunters, and those are the ones that are in the tavern.
But before I leave, I will teach you all the Monster Hunters toast, since you're in the Monster Hunters Guild. So, everyone please raise your arms in the air and your glasses if you have them. And when I say release the hounds, I want to hear your loudest, fiercest howls. Patrons of the Burning Blade, release the hounds! Excellent, all right, drink up and good luck. You're gonna need it.
They go around and they can talk to you. I think I've only seen them when they've been leaving. I haven't actually talked to them. But in the Wizarding World is where we see two other walk-around characters. I don't know if there's more. I know there are students. I don't know if the students are named, but we interacted with an Auror. His name was Lou. And then we got to interact another day with another actor called Cosme. I think it's Cosme. She is the owner of the wand shop, and she actually helped my husband pick out his wand, which I'll show you in a second. But Lou, we interacted with, and he actually sent us on like a quest. We just came out of the like bad wizard tavern, and he was staring at us, and I don't know if he noticed that I had a camera in my hand or if he just hadn't interacted with anyone in a while, and he gave us a look. And so we basically walked over, and I was like talking to him, trying to figure out what was going on. My husband thought he was actually young Dumbledore. He thought he was supposed to be playing him from like the movies. That is not true. He's not young Dumbledore. He is just an Auror that also wears a suit kind of like Dumbledore. Just so you guys know, if you interact with him, he's not Dumbledore. I don't know if they changed their names. I don't know if they're always Lou. The one we got one day was Lou. I'll insert the clips of the quest he sent us on and kind of like what we talked about. I will not be showing what we found because if he gives similar quests, I don't know if he gives various or if this is the only one he has. Obviously, I don't want to show you so you can do it.
I'm going to hold it this time so we get some good audio. So we're down here in the, I don't know what the official name of this land is, but it is the French Ministry of Magic area. And then we've come into like basically the dark corners of the street. I don't know what it's called right now off the top of my head, but we met up with someone that we thought was Dumbledore from like the new Magical Beasts movie, and it's not Dumbledore. It's just some French guy that kind of looks and dresses like Dumbledore, and he came over and talked to us for a while. It was really weird, but he thought I was suspicious, and then he figured out I wasn't suspicious, and he's actually like an Auror. And he wants us to go into the Shady Tavern that's right behind us and look for a symbol that he had on his notepad. And it seemed like he had wanted to try and go in there himself, but he thinks he looked too much like an Auror, so he didn't want to go in.
Gives off Auror vibes.
He actually told us to be very discreet. We could take a picture if we were discreet or, something. I'm not going to videotape it also because I don't know if this is like a thing that they'll do regularly around the park for you to like see and do yourself. So he told us to go do that and then find him again, and he might give us something. So we'll try. We'll try and meet up with him. I don't even remember.
This could
What
be
did
our
he
last
say his
video.
name was?
It was French, so
A French name? We forgot already. We'll see if we can find him again. So, update. I think we found it. Well, we thought we found it, and then I felt like it definitely wasn't it, and then we think we found it again. So we have two options to show him, and hopefully one of them is the right one, and if not, hopefully he takes pity on us and decides that we did a good job. So we've got to like casually meet back up with him. I don't remember his name again, but we'll see and we'll update you again.
Inspector Crusoe.
He is an auror. He's not an inspector.
So we had to kind of end the quest there because we didn't know what to do afterwards. So basically, he gave us this card when we went back to him after showing him the photo. Again, I don't know if we showed him the right photo. I think we did. I think we did at the end. We showed him the right one. We had two options, and they both weren't like exactly what I thought it would look like. I thought it would be a lot clearer, especially for kids. If kids are going in looking for a specific thing, I think it should be a lot clearer for them. So maybe I was wrong about what we select. And when we did that, he gave us this card, and he basically said, I trust you now, like this this evil is getting worse than I thought. I have to protect the ministry. Take this card and use it at a later time, you know, when things are more safe. Whatever that means. And it says, find the residence of a very old acquaintance of mine, but only when ready. So he basically told us what is already on this card. And he is not referring to Dumbledore. He did tell us, he's like, I am actually a friend of Dumbledore at this point. He said, yeah, you guys were right. I'm not Dumbledore, but I do know Dumbledore. And I also know Nicholas Flamel. He is also Dumbledore's friend. This is referencing Nicholas Flamel. We didn't know where to use this. We didn't know where to bring this card to. I thought maybe it was like an AR card, or like it had a chip in it where we held this card up after he gives it to us, something will happen. Maybe like one of the, like a moving picture might show us something, or it might open something like one of the wand spots does. That was not the case. We asked around, and we even asked him again on our next trip. My husband, he went up and was basically like, you gave us this card last time. What are we supposed to do with it? We're kind of lost. And basically the answer is nothing. We do nothing with this card. It just kind of ends there. That's the end of the quest. But we found an amazing cast member once we were doing some of the wand spots. And he was actually able to show us that you can actually see the Philosopher's Stone, the Sorcerer's Stone, in one of the wand spots. It is like a secret wand spell. We actually got to do the secret wand spell because he showed us, but he said it was going to be added in to like a story element later. So maybe that's what this is supposed to be. This does have like a symbol on it, but is not a wand spell to do. Like it's not a wand movement. So I loved this. I thought this was a good thing to do. That was my first interaction with a character, and it was very nice. It was odd. Again, I'm not someone that's good in character, but I just wish this did something. Maybe eventually they'll change what they give so then it can tell you to go do that wand thing, and then you do that and you see the stone, and then maybe you go back to him and say, hey, I found this stone, like what do we do? And then hopefully like maybe he'd walk over to it and start like trying to figure out how he can like protect it or something. I don't know. And then also my husband picked out his wand with Cosme. So Cosme is in her wand shop and to sell wands. I don't know if she goes around the town or she only is in the wand shop. That's the only place we saw her. She was great. She kind of talked to me at the beginning, and I showed her the wand I had, and she told us a little about it, and then she kind of whisked away and helped someone else. But then like my husband, she saw him staring at a wand, and she came over and just said, this wand is this and will be this trade. Is that you? And he was like, yeah, maybe, because he was actually trying to decide between two wands. And then she actually had come over a little bit later and actually had somebody pull the wand for him that he was looking at and was like, here, do you want to test it? I want you to like kind of see it, not just in my case. And he picked it up and like flourished, and of course she's gonna be like, oh, it's perfect, you should get that one. You know, she's a character and she's trying to sell her own wands, and she's a cast member trying to sell merchandise to you. But it was really great. It was like, oh yeah, I will get this one, because I mean, the person who made it said it's a good wand for me. So it was great that it wasn't like the other parks where you have to wait and watch a show for one person to get a wand, and that she's able to just interact with multiple guests and kind of like move around the shop seamlessly and just kind of sell product for them. But it was a great thing, and that is something that I remember very, very positively during our interactions with her. So. Okay, I do want to quickly talk about the one merch that we did get. We did get wands. We did not buy power-up bands. After buying the wands, I wasn't going to buy a power-up band, especially since I couldn't use it outside of Epic Universe. And again, not sure when I'll be back, but I would love to be able to do that. That seems like it would be a fun day or two of trying to do everything for that. We both got a wand here in this park. My husband got this one, and we got this our second day, and we actually got this one the last hour of our first day. These are both the interactive wands with the little sensors at the top, and both of these are specifically exclusive to this park. So they come in new wand boxes, which are these triangle-shaped ones, and they open with magnets just like everything else with the wand maps in them. But these are triangles. These are specific to Epic Universe. I was told that you cannot buy these in the other parks. They will not be there. So you can only get these there. I did ask if I accidentally broke my wand. And of course, I can't always go to Epic Universe. I'm not planning on going to Epic Universe anymore, or at least some time. If I broke this wand, can I get this wand repaired in another wand shop, is basically what I tried to ask. And I wanted to ask if I could get it fixed at another park, at Universal Studios or Isles of Adventure. I was basically told by one person they don't know, and then I did ask another cast member, one that was actually at the counter instead of one just walking around, and they said no, that they are not able to do that for you. If they can replace your wand, but they cannot replace it with the Epic Universe exclusive wands. So I just want you to be aware, if you like any of these exclusive ones, the ones that have the lights and vibrate are not exclusive. It is only the ones made by Cosme and the French shop that are Epic Universe exclusive. I don't really like the interactive wands. I think they look too bulky in most of them, especially the character wands. I do not like character wands when they have these in them, because in the movies you can see that they go to point. I bought the specific wands that do not have those when I had my character wands. These ones, and specifically the ones not associated with the character and more so associated with birthdays or characteristics, those ones I am more apt to buy these with, and since these were exclusive, I wanted to buy these while I could. And we went around and used them, and I had a great time. Did I do it? Probably not. Do I have to be closer? Do I have to stand on the wand spot?
Maybe it's too big. It's smaller, maybe.
Oh, you're right, smaller. Oh, you see that? Oh! Oh my god, it dropped real coins. This one's just called Ventus. I didn't even do the spell, and it just went off. Is it just pitying me every time? I don't think I did it.
you like to pass another spell? Oh,
Try doing it smaller.
Smaller?
There's a sensor shift.
Congratulations! And you have one too. Oh,
Oh.
nice. Yes, you shall take good care of it. Yes. Well, right. Please orange your wand at the lamp next to my friend Simon there. Do you see
Was
it?
that it?
First try. First try. I am a wizard, Harry.
You're Jake. And I hope we go back to Universal soon because I would like to do those wand spots there. I've never done them. And some of these wand spots actually were games. I don't know if they are like that in all the parks. Again, I haven't done that yet, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But some of them in Epic Universe have timers to them, and you're actually supposed to do things and point at things. Like we made a potion, and another was using the Descendio spell multiple times over again. So it was really cool to be able to do that. All right, let's talk about the rides in the theme park. You know, the reason why the theme park is there to ride rides. We were in the park 2 days. We're not able to get on every ride. Again, this isn't a normal theme park day. Hopefully the ride wait times will eventually become pretty consistent. The ride queues, for the most part, are fun. For a ride queue, there are details and then there are things to see. All of them seem to have water stations, trash cans. None of them had bathrooms in them. I know I really like Flight of Passage ride. It has a bathroom in it. I desperately needed that one time. I don't think any of these rides in this park have bathrooms in them. The queues are incredibly well built in terms of shade. Shade is built around them somehow in buildings, things over them. Great amount of shade for lines. I would not worry about waiting in a line if it is too hot, too sunny, raining. There are some spots obviously in each one that could happen, but most of them are covered, have fans. Queues are long, definitely. They are built to house big lines. How many? We don't know. We'll never know. Some of them are really cute, like Yoshi's was really cute, but a lot of the queues do have a problem, and I think this is a big problem. Again, same with like Mario Land. There are random stairs in queues that I was not expecting when you first go into some of these. So the rides that we went on that had stairs in the queues were the Ministry of Magic, the Frankenstein Monsters Experiment. Yoshi's had stairs, Stardust Racers and Hiccups, and that Mario Kart also has stairs in it. So if someone in your party cannot use stairs or will need a different way into the vehicles, like one of them in Ministry of Magic, that queue, there are no stairs, and then right at the end there is a bunch of stairs up and a bunch of stairs down, and then right there is the loading dock. I would highly recommend asking before you go on each of these, get to a random place in the queue that has stairs and not be able to go forward, especially some of these rides. They are very far in. So some of these rides are definitely overhyped in my personal opinion. Hiccups was down literally all day until like 7 o'clock at night, and then it immediately went up, and immediately the line got long because nobody was able to ride it all day and people wanted to. So Hiccups is the roller coaster in Bark. Again, good queue, good shade. The queue has some cute rocks and details in it that I loved. This does have lockers, free lockers. I did ride with my fanny pack on once. The other times it's just like, well, what's the point? My husband, he has to put his in there. I might as well just throw mine in there, get on the ride, get off. Also, whenever we got off this ride, it felt like the restraints got tighter. Maybe I was just imagining it, but these restraints were uncomfortable on my legs. I did want to ride this ride because my initial thought of this ride was it was going to be like Hagrid's. The Hiccup roller coaster in Berk is not like Hagrid's. Do not believe anyone that tells you it's like Hagrid's. It is not like Hagrid's at all. I think the best comparison would be the Slinky Dog roller coaster in Toy Story Land. So they both have a launch, they both have a second launch, and they both are a smooth family ride that anyone can really go on if you are at the height requirement. We did get stuck. We got stuck right at the end before you load off on our second day, and we're kind of stuck there in the sun for maybe 10, 15 minutes. The ride went down. We were hot. We were in the direct sun for about 50 minutes sitting on black seats on a coaster. We got off. We were given free water. We were given free priority passes to one ride. I'll show that here. I want to specifically say the priority passes cannot be used for Battle of the Ministry, the Hogwarts ride, and cannot be used for Minecart Madness. For anything else in the park you can use it for, I would recommend Mario Kart if you really want to go on that one, or Stardust Racers at night. We went on Fire Drill one of the first mornings we got there. Really short, another really short ride. I thought it was going to be longer. I didn't realize how small it is. It was really nice for the heat while you were on the ride, and then you were like, oh, this is cool, this is nice. And then as soon as you start thinking those, the ride's over. So again, not a ride I would wait very long for. We waited maybe 20-25 minutes. We had gotten in line when it said it was like 15, but everyone else started going over there. When we were in line, it jumped to 40. I don't think we waited 40. I think our entire experience of waiting in line and riding the ride was probably more like 30, 40. I wouldn't wait longer than what we waited though. I overhyped the Yoshi's ride in my head. I thought it was going to be like a People Mover-esque ride, where you kind of leisurely go throughout the land and kind of see everything, and then you get off. Yoshi's was not that. It was maybe like I don't even know if the ride was a minute. It had to be a minute. It had to be like 2 minutes long, maybe less than 2 minute ride.
I like that the Yoshi is singing. Like they're all going like dee 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 dee.
But the queue was really cute. I loved the queue.
Oh, it's so cute. Oh, that was Toadette in the door.
And we were able to get on this ride right after it had been closed. So the ride was down, and then the ride opened back up, and we were actually at the bathroom outside of the Mario Land, saw it, went back up, went right in, basically was a walk-on. I would not ride this ride if it was not a walk-on. First off, there are stairs, and once you get on the ride, you are on the ride for less than 2 minutes. And I do not like the seats of this ride. They are bucket seats. I see no reason why this ride has to have bucket seats. It is up high, it is looking over, but there is no place really for anyone to go, and they were kind of uncomfortable. Cute theming, but I would not go on Yoshi's again unless it was a walk-on. The Battle at the Ministry. I will say the virtual queue is horrendous. It is going to be a problem. I don't know if it's like a technological problem or if it is working successfully and it's just going to be so hard to get those passes. I was never there the first days that the Rise of the Resistance ride opened or that Guardians of the Galaxy opened, but eventually I had gone during the virtual queues and had successfully gotten the virtual queues like months later. But here at the Battle of the Ministry, even with reduced capacity during previews, we had a hard time getting our virtual queue. It opened up and it had nothing, and I just kind of sat on the screen waiting. I had seen some media saying that the system was glitchy, it never dropped them right at 3, keep refreshing. I don't know if it ever actually was successfully dropping them on time, or if the drop was late and not at the specific time it said it was in the app. But after about 10 minutes, I was able to secure us some virtual queue tickets to the ride. On day 2, we did not get tickets. We tried twice, I believe. We tried at the 2 later drop. Both times we were slightly late, but I didn't know if that would be a problem or not, because again, I couldn't tell if it was working correctly or not. But we never saw another virtual queue pop up. I will say the Battle of the Ministry queue is the coolest queue in the park for me. I got, like, it was just because I had seen this thing on the big screen and read it in the books throughout the years. This was just I was so awestruck by how much detail they've put into this queue. First going through the Flu Network.
Oh my God.
And then seeing the Ministry, the detailing, like I always loved how the brickwork looked in that, how it looked so slick and dark and wet and mysterious, and they really nailed it.
Oh my God, it's huge. Wow. Look at all the little... I was gonna look at all the little sets in there. That's so cool.
Let me have it. You go up there.
Oh, okay. Let me have it. Oh, you go up there. Here I go. It is so big. Oh my God. And the ceiling is like a fake cloud, smoky, magical sky. That's so cool. That's awesome. Okay, we gotta go on the queue now.
There is an animatronic in the queue. She is really cute. I like her. I do think this queue is going to be absolutely ridiculous though. When they let people in and they let it into the queue's capacity, this is a giant queue. It is made to hold a lot of people. A lot of people will be in that line. I don't know how long that line will be. Even with our virtual queue, I remember we were in the line for what seemed like maybe at least 40 minutes, maybe longer. I didn't film the whole queue, so I don't have like my time recorded in the queue. So I had like some issues. Obviously, this is one of the rides that has the most issues in the park going on for technical difficulties, but hopefully they smooth all that out and that doesn't affect anything. And then it's just mere capacity that affects how many people can get on and off this ride in an hour. So we'll see. We'll see with the wait time on it. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really bad. It was a really fun ride. I could not tell like what was real on that ride and what was not in terms of animatronics versus screens. I think Universal has really like perfected that technology of like doing an animatronic layered in a screen environment and it looking pretty seamless. There were a few where it's like, I know that one's an animatronic and I definitely know that's a screen. But when they start layering them and they start interacting with each other, they're really seamless. I'm really glad I got to see this ride at the beginning of its life cycle because as we go on Gringotts and the Hogwarts Castle ride now in the other Universal parks, I don't know if it's because of the glasses or if it is the film quality itself, but they always look blurry to me. It could also be me personally because of my eyes and my eyesight that either the glasses or the film looks blurry to me. I do have kind of bad eyes. I did wear contacts both times we went to this park. On this ride and on Monsters, I did see screens with contacts in and they looked perfect. I couldn't tell what was a screen and what wasn't. But as time goes on, I don't know, because Pandora screens are also blurry to me. Again, those are something with glasses though. So it might be the glasses or it might be the screen. I can't actually tell if it's the glasses, the screen, or me. So just be aware if you want to go on these rides. If you have any trouble with the other screens at all, I would say try and get on these rides sooner rather than later. But I might be wrong. I might be wrong. It might just be me. It might just be the glasses. And since these rides have no glasses, there's no 3D effect, it's perfectly fine. So first day, we were not able to ride Monsters. And then when we went back the second time, thankfully it was open. We were able to get on when it had about 25-minute wait. And this is another one where the queue is beautiful. The queue has effects going on, it has sculptures, it has artwork. Eventually at some point you're just kind of weaving through it and there's nothing really to look at. One does have 2 pre-show rooms going on as well. You go into a pre-show room and they show you the ride vehicle. The ride vehicle is Kuka Arms, just like the Hogwarts ride. I will say this is a really cute little miniature of the Kuka Arms, and then you are led into the next section with the other pre-show, with some of the animatronics are right there, kind of explaining the story if you didn't read everything in the queue, which we didn't. We had to keep walking through.
Does that mean like she built like a new Frankenstein, like a better Frankenstein, or is it the same one and she just improved it or something? Subject version 10? Like, is it that, like, she built like 10 Frankensteins?
I went in knowing what this ride was. I watched footage of this ride, and I will say this ride is actually not as scary as the Hogwarts one. I think the Hogwarts ride is much scarier with the Dementors and spiders. They get really close. These ones do not. And again, it is animatronics with layered screens, just like the Battle of the Ministry. So some of them, this one was more so I could see what was an animatronic and what was a screen. So on this one, there are animatronics and there are screens again. This one, it was a little easier to know what were animatronics and what were screens. It looked amazing. They were crisp, nothing was blurry, but like just from like the way the creatures were moving, you could tell like that one that's not an animatronic. And there is like one or two animatronics, but you're not getting as close as the Dementors are getting into your face. And there are some other effects like lighting, fire. I really thought this one was good. The scariest moment to me was actually not even the ride itself. If you looked slightly down immediately as soon as the ride starts, you can see how big these Kuka arms are, because you are about like, you are a second story in the air above where this arm is going along a track. And it is so scary to like be like, oh my God, I'm that high up? I didn't even notice. And then could be like, okay, I guess I'm going on this ride now. As an adult who doesn't like scary things, it's not scary. It's not a horror ride. Bats, specifically bats. If you don't like bats, don't go on this ride. There's a lot of screens showing bats. Okay, last but not least is Stardust Racers. This was actually the first ride we went on when we got there. It is the like Velocicoaster of the park. It is made by the same manufacturer. It is a dueling coaster just like Dueling Dragons was, which is now a defunct ride. And I want to say this ride looks amazing at night. I would highly recommend riding it at night, especially if you get one of those priority passes that we got for being on a broken down ride. I will say Stardust Racers is not as good as Velocicoaster to me. The Velocicoaster, it has its pros and cons, and the Stardust Racers has its pros and cons. So Stardust Racers, I don't think it has a great themed like area to be in. It is right when you walk in. Like, I love the signage they have for this, and I love the theming walking into the line queue. But as soon as you like get on the ride and you actually go and start going, the first hill you go up, you're just kind of looking into nothing. So when it's dark out, it kind of hides all that. You are seeing the other car more because you both light up. You can't really see the track as much. So that's why at night I feel like this one is better. Mainly because of those lighting effects, and you're kind of hiding the unfinished land that you would normally see for most of this ride. So the Velocicoaster having that roll over the water, and I'm just hanging out my seat for like those few seconds, trumps Stardust Racers having that dueling aspect for me. But some people might put this over Velocicoaster because of that dueling, because of it at night, because of the lighting effects. The launch is actually really cool. The launch is probably my favorite part, that once you start going, you launch and you're not at full speed yet, and then it surprises you and launches you a second time. If you like one, you'll like the other in my mind. So it might sound like we didn't go on a lot of rides, but so we actually had gone on Stardust Racers about 3 times. 3 times. And then we also had done Hiccups 3 times. Could have definitely used that time and had ridden something else. like The Curse of the Werewolf or a Minecart Madness. We could have definitely used that time more efficiently. We just didn't. And I'm going to say that probably 2 days is not even enough if you really want to commit and do everything in this park. Okay, let's talk about the food. The food in the theme park. The food in Epic Universe. I just want to preference this section. I would say Epic Universe has a very good variety of food. I would not say the quality on all the food is good. I would say 50-50. Some things are really amazing and some things I will never touch again at Epic Universe. So kind of just like any other theme park out there, it's kind of a hit or a miss, and you will find your favorites and you will find the staples, and there are definitely people out there who have already poured it on or have posted about things that they think are the highlights and the stars of the food in Epic Universe. I also want to preference, before we get into what we actually got, that I do not drink any alcohol. My husband does drink alcohol. It's not for any reason other than I just don't have the taste preference for alcohol. Completely fine with my husband drinking alcohol. He had a great time.
It's a little fizzy. It's great. It tastes like it's like a funky, fizzy cranberry juice almost.
Lots of options for him, a variety of things. I just didn't taste any of it, so I can't comment on any of those. And so the dining in this park is very weird, I would say. So there are two formal sit-down restaurants, two formal restaurants that we did not go into. Since we didn't do that, we just stuck to quick service snack locations and mobile ordering on our app. Universal definitely wants you to mobile order on your app. They do not want you going up to cashiers unless it is a certain snack cart or popcorn cart. Other than that, any of the ones that have seating, they do not want you to be going up to a cash register for the most part. But of course, they do allow that. They don't want anyone to go hungry in their park. So I did see people ordering from them. We just never did. We always used our mobile app. In each sit-down quick service, it's kind of like a weird in-between. It's kind of like Panera, basically. So you go and you need to wait for a seat. They will seat you. Some of them, it was they would seat you. If they could, they would bring you to a table. Some of them were just waiting for seats to open, and then they'd let you go in and you could pick a seat, or they'd just point at it and kind of over in that area is where you can sit. And then other ones, it seemed like it didn't matter. We went to the meat hall and walked around in there first because that was the first land we went to. Again, all of them are beautifully themed, beautiful mosaics on some of the walls, tapestries, artwork. Everything is beautiful in them. Please go look around in them if you can. But most of them do make you wait for a table to become available, and then they will seat you at that table. From being sat at that table, you have a table number, and you can scan the QR code to pull up the menu and order right from your table, and then wait for the food to come out, and it is brought to you. I do think this will become a big problem in the future, especially once the park opens with full capacity. I already had some trouble with one of the places we went to. I'll talk about that in a second. I just think it's going to be really hard because you have to be seated at a table to be able to receive your quick service meal. You can't just take it and walk away. And then, of course, they can't kick you out. I see a problem with people waiting to get a table and then not realizing that they were waiting for a table and not waiting in line to get food. And then they still have to do the food waiting portion of the line as well. And it's just going to be double the time that most people are probably expecting. And each land does have unique food. You do have a variety, but then if you need a certain food like chicken nuggets, burger, something, those are also in multiple places. You don't just have to get a burger in this section and the section is full and you want to go get it somewhere else. That is an option. So our first thing that we got was the mac and cheese cones. These I saw online before we went. I was very excited for them. I love mac and cheese, I love bread, and then they do have specialty ones. I just got the plain one. The next time we went, my husband did get the one with barbecue pork on the top, but the mac and cheese cones specifically are very popular. It's just like a little grab and go for them. They have sodas and mac and cheese cones, and that's it. But while I was there, you can mobile order them from the Spitfire grill across the water. So if you do want a mac and cheese cone and it is popular, mobile order it at the Spitfire grill. I think you will have a way better time than waiting in line at the actual mac and cheese cone cart. I will say it was better than most theme park mac and cheese. It is better than mac and cheese at Disney World for sure. It was more on par with a steakhouse, like kids mac and cheese. It's not just crap. Unlike my husband's cone, mine had goldfish on the top and on the bottom. He wished that they had put some of the barbecue pork on the top and the bottom, just like they did with mine. Alas, they didn't. It was just on the top. So the rest of his was just a normal mac and cheese cone. The bread is nice and toasted, it is nice and buttery. It has an everything seasoning on it. You need napkins. I would definitely grab some napkins, but it is something you can kind of hold and walk around if you don't want to sit in the media area or if there is no seating over at Spitfire Grill. This was probably my favorite thing that wasn't a dessert at the park. I would 100% get this every time I go, no matter what. I will always get a mac and cheese cone. The mac and cheese cone is definitely big enough to be a meal, but on that first day, we did split it, and so when we headed to our next section of the park, we were definitely looking for something else, which was in the Harry Potter section. And the thing that was so good that we got was the creme brulee. It is my favorite dessert in this whole park. I did try other sweets. None of them were as good as the creme brulee. My husband that time also got a croissant. We both wanted to try a snack.
So this is the lavender lemonade over in the French Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
I also got the lavender lemonade. I really love the lavender lemonade. That was the only drink I really tried. Again, I don't drink, so I got the lavender lemonade I think about 3 or 4 times. So day one dinner I didn't film. My husband actually took the camera and he went over and filmed a couple of things for me while I was sitting and holding our spot and waiting for our food. For dinner I got the French onion soup. The soup was good. My husband, he got this open-faced calzone pizza thing. He said it was okay. He did not expect what he got. Overall, it was a good dinner because then we got 2 creme brulees for dessert. Also that day we had another snack. This was at the Burning Blade Tavern. And this was like our first disappointment of the day, was this food at the Burning Blade Tavern. Again, you can't order inside the tavern, you have to go out to the window, and I didn't know that. They didn't have a QR code to scan. I don't know if you were supposed to know to order on your phone. This was my most anticipated thing besides the mac and cheese we had gotten was the garlic butter steak pretzel along with the black cheese balls in this tavern. These 2 things were absolutely awful. I love pretzels. These pretzels were not good. I love a good pretzel, but it was not a pretzel. And you expected a pretzel, but the texture was off. It was so hard and it was like all of the air had been smooshed out. It was tough. I just gave up. I gave up after a couple of bites. I was expecting a light and fluffy pretzel with some garlic butter on it, and it just wasn't that. It wasn't that at all. Yeah, very disappointing in that. And then the cheese balls, many people online had been saying they were mac and cheese balls. They kept saying the mac and cheese balls at Epic Universe are amazing, so good. And I was like, okay, cool, I love mac and cheese balls. I obviously ate mac and cheese earlier today, and I thought that was good. So if they just put that mac and cheese in ball form, I'm gonna be so pleased. These do not have mac and cheese in them. These are not the mac and cheese balls that I was anticipating. It was just fried queso, and then you had more queso to dip it in, and it was just not. I like cheese, but no, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the money that I paid for it. Definitely not. Do not eat them thinking there is noodles inside. There are no noodles. It is just sadness. Sad cheese inside. We also decided to go to Pizza Moon. I wanted to try the specialty ube pizza. That one sounded the best to me. Skipped that. We just got a dessert there. We got the brownie that they have on the menu. And I thought it was going to be a really gooey brownie. What I got was not that. It was like, it felt like it was old. There was way too much marshmallow on top. The Nutella did not cut through the marshmallow. It was just a horrible texture inside your mouth of like the extra gooey marshmallow and this hard, really sad quality brownie.
Ugh, shaky because I'm left-handed. Yum, yum, yum.
If you've ever had like those brownie bites, those chocolate ones specifically, the like muffin brownie bites, kind of tasted like that with just some extra goo on top. And the goo on top did not help. The marshmallows did not help at all. The marshmallows made the texture even worse, and there wasn't enough Nutella to fix it or to cover it up. We did not even finish that brownie. Real letdown there, because so many people had been posting about Pizza Moon, and I was seeing these posts and scrolling by, but so many of the posts seemed like a positive to the restaurant, but I don't think any of them got the brownie. So they were getting the pizza. So maybe if I go back one day, I should try the pizza and not the brownie. But I mean, if I'm gonna go somewhere and get cheese, I'm just gonna go get that mac and cheese cone. Real letdown, because it is beautiful in there too. And that was probably also one of the worst lines. We actually went to wait in the line, but I was waiting for, they had a special people there doing watercolor postcards, and I had gotten a callback time to go back to that. We had gone back at my callback time and they still weren't ready for me. So I thought we would have enough time to go get a brownie and then come back. Perfect, it's right next door. We were so wrong, because there was a huge line to just get the seat, like I had said earlier. We waited like 20 minutes and I said, honey, we're not gonna get a seat. And then once we get a seat, we're not gonna get this brownie for like another 20 minutes. And then by that time, I don't want to lose my spot. So we left and then went back at another time when the line was shorter. But it was just so odd having that experience, and had been thinking about how the lines are gonna suck. And I'm like, what if this line was double? Like, you really wanna wait like almost an hour to get a seat? But it wasn't worth it. The Pizza Moon wasn't worth it. More disaster struck on that day in the form of the Toadstool Cafe. Now, the first day we went, the Toadstool Cafe had a line. And we were just checking things out that day, didn't really know anything. The one thing I really wanted from the Toadstool Cafe was the mushroom soup. I really wanted to see the toad bowl with the head on it. I thought that was so cute over in Japan, and I wanted the mushroom soup. So we went there and we got that for dinner. We got Toadstool Cafe for dinner on day 2. So we actually went right in, and she pointed out a seat to us, and we walked over and we sat down and ordered our food. From then though, the wait was atrocious. I thought they forgot about us after some point, and then we checked our phones and still said it was in progress or whatnot. And my husband actually got up a time and asked, like, hey, is anything, like, is it broken? Is anything wrong? Like, we still haven't gotten our food. It's been like 20 minutes. And she said, oh no, it's just busy. When it's busy, it can take up to like half an hour to get your food from ordering, not from sitting down, from ordering, because they don't know what you want until you order. And I think it was longer than that. It was at least like 7 o'clock at night is when we got in there. It was past 8 when we rushed out to go use our priority pass with the Stardust Racers. It even was a little weird because our app saying your mobile order progress had been completed for about 5 minutes before the food actually appeared. And we were a little concerned, because what if our food got delivered to another table? Because it did seem like throughout the times we were there at these restaurants that obviously the workers aren't super familiar where every table is. There's 100 different tables, and I don't know if they switch up which restaurant they work in, but they don't know all the table numbers by heart. They have no idea where all the table placements are. Super fair, super understandable, but like, they could have delivered our food to some other person, and the other person could have said, oh yeah, that is us. So we thought maybe somebody else got our food. Luckily they didn't. It did come, but it was just so odd that the app wasn't really telling us when it was coming out. It just said the food was complete, like our transaction was complete. It wasn't like telling us that the food was coming. That really soured the mood. We were really trying to get on another ride or two before we left, and we didn't realize how long Toadstool Cafe would take. If we had just gone to get more mac and cheese cones or try somewhere else, I felt like it might have not taken as long. And then so once we got our food, my husband got the caprese salad, I got the mushroom soup like I wanted, and then we also ordered the garlic knots, the mushroom garlic knots.
Oh, he's so cute with the little hat.
And those were the best things there. And then I tried the mushroom soup. This is very mushroom soupy, and too mushroomy for me to finish it, by the way. I was anticipating it to be like a cream of mushroom soup, but no, it was overly mushroom. I think it would have helped if there were a few more of those little like mushroom crackers in there, if I had gotten a side of crackers to add something in to cut through it, but that was not the case. Again, there's nobody really like you could ask. I don't know if there was a way to ask for more crackers. I would have appreciated it if I had some more crackers to put into the soup. I would have been able to eat more of the soup if I had something. And my husband, he said the caprese was just okay. And he also got a dessert. He got the tiramisu cake mystery block. It was so cute. But he did say it was weird, the question mark blocks. I thought they would be like sugar cookies with like the thing printed on them. Turns out he said they were more like a pie crust. I'm not huge into coffee, so I did not have any of that. He said it was overpoweringly coffee flavored, which was good for him, but weird because coffee is kind of an acquired taste, especially for younger children. It just seemed weird that he said the coffee flavor was overwhelming. It wasn't like dulled down any at all. Because of how long it took and how popular I know that restaurant is, because of the lands it's in, because of the theming, because like people are going to assume that that restaurant is the most kid friendly, even though I think the other ones are just as kids friendly. I would not go back to the Toadstool Cafe unless like there was a really good reason to, and I did not have a really good reason to. So all of our food kind of was a hit or a miss. If it was a hit, it was a great hit. It is like a theme park staple to me. The mac and cheese cone, the creme brulee, the lemonade. I'm sure there are other things that I haven't gotten to try. So if I were you, you definitely look things up. I don't think, again, with the mobile ordering, you can do a lot of substitutions. So I was worried about like ordering any burgers anywhere to try and like take off what I wouldn't want on the toppings, or if like somebody's allergic to something. I don't know how that works. I'm gonna guess you have to go up and order with the cast member. Again, I don't have any dietary issues, so I wasn't able to ask. And then obviously some of the ones I was really anticipating, really excited about, they were just not up to what I thought. But maybe they'll add another pretzel and hopefully I'll be able to go back and try it. I had a great time on our 2 days. We had an amazing time. I was always disappointed that we had to leave. I wanted to stay. I wanted to keep doing things. I wanted to go back immediately. And that's why we did go back. I'm really excited to learn what they are going to expand on first, what other rides they're going to put into the park, what are changes going to happen. And I am going to be watching very closely the opening of this park to see what the problems are, and if I am right in some of my thoughts that the capacity is going to really ruin the experience for some people. And that would be such a shame, because I think these people that are going to go the first few weeks of opening and during the summertime in the first year are really excited about this park, just like I was. And I think it's going to be kind of diminished by any capacity problems, any problems with shade, any problems with dehydration during the summer. And I really think this park is going to shine eventually when those crowds, those initial crowds slow down. I could see myself being in this park many, many times over again, always doing something new, rewriting a ride I love. And I just feel like Epic Universe has been pushing with that new technology, pushing with all the feedback from all the other parks, and it has really stepped up and is really showing like what Universal has to offer in such a good compact area. It's phenomenal. It's got to be my favorite park in Orlando right now. So I highly recommend not going during opening time. If you already have tickets to opening time, I wish you luck. I will not be there. Do not look for me. I will keep my eye on the social medias to see if I'm right. I really loved everything we experienced there. I really loved being able to be there. I really loved being able to experience the previews of this park. Again, that was something I never thought I would be able to do when this was first announced. It was so cool. I will remember this experience for a long time. And I am so glad to have been able to share my days and my experiences and my thoughts with you. And I can't wait for Universal to announce an annual pass, because I will get one of those. It's so pretty. I like the bunny. The bunny's cute.
But the real question is Stardew Racers, Starcraft Duelers, is that better than Velocicoaster? I think no. I think it's on par, but I think that Velocicoaster is just a little bit better because the Mosasaur roll over the water is pretty unbeatable, and I think that it's a little bit smoother. The turns and the rolls are a little bit longer, and they're a little bit. There's a little bit more room to breathe, whereas Starcraft Fighters just kind of There's a lot of up, down, up, down, up, down, negative, positive G's over and over again. And don't get me wrong, it's stupid fast. The speed is one of the coolest parts, and then looking over at the other cars next to you is bonkers. It's like super cathartic just to wave at someone next to you while you're upside down. It's crazy. But, you know, I just think that the setting, the theme, and the up, down is the only real drawback. But it's definitely a really well-built, super creative, super fun coaster overall. And right now with like 15, 20-minute waits, which I don't understand, it's like a no-brainer. Anyway, that's what I think about Starcross Lovers, and I do think that Velocicoaster is better, unfortunately. But it's still worth the wait, it's still great, you know, would highly recommend coaster. Anyway, I'm gonna give you back to Katrina now. She's better at talking and showing things, but join us next time at the Jake Show. Okay, bye.